Hi there. It is quite common for many of you to use ls command as a part of shell scripts, mostly for automation. More often people would use ls command, capture the output and do some filtering with awk and acd or cut command and perform some things. And whenever I find ls being used in a shell script, I sort of find it very wrong, at least on the Linux environment. The reason? Simply because a lot of times I found ls command to not be very script friendly. For example, the ls -l output is not always consistent, especially when it comes to printing the timestamps. That's one thing that actually can cause trouble if you want to extract a particular field, which involves size or the file name itself, right? And another aspect is that if all the file names have spaces, then you're in for a trouble if you're going to use cut command or awk command to deal with it. And the shell scripts generally become more clumsy the moment you use ls command, because you need to capture the output, you need to feed it to acd or feed it to cut or feed it to awk and do some post processing. But is there any alternatives for ls10? Yes, there are lightweight alternatives for ls command in shell script automation wherever you find it, wherever you need a requirement for looking at files and data, file details in a directory. So I will show you some of the examples right here. To begin with, for simple use cases, a shell wildcard expansion should suffice. Let's take this example in here. For example, if at all I'm going to get the list of files in the current directory and store it in a variable, I could actually use this. I could actually say, files is equal to backticks ls. This is a standard procedure. And yes, many of you use backticks for command substitution. I am not a fan of backticks. Okay, call me opinionated. Backticks is used in many shells, but I find this more useful to use dollar parenthesis. At least when you're writing shell script, I always recommend you to use dollar parenthesis because it aids better readability, and secondly, you can nest them. You can have command substitution in command substitution by nesting multiple command substitutions with dollar parenthesis. You cannot nest backticks, right? They have some limitations. So of course, if you're using TCSH, some shells like TCSH, I don't think this syntax would work. You have to use backticks. But when you run something like this, when you say files is equal to dollar of ls, and if you just try to say dollar files, yeah, you get it. Do you see a problem here? I don't want this. Asterisk, asterisk, / @ pipe symbol. You know why? Because in my setup, I have aliased ls already to be ls minus capital F minus color. But because I'm using the script friendly notation, the minus color option is being taken off, but it still uses this minus F switch. So maybe you have to use unalias ls, and then maybe if you run this, you can get the output. Now this actually has every file is separated by a new line, right? You can see that a.txt, there's a new line, fuser.sh, new line. So this brings this dollar files, is file name, new line, file name, new line, file name, new line. It's in that particular format. Is there an alternative? Well, I could actually say files is equal to asterisk. Pretty straightforward. I'll show you. If I just say echo dollar files, oops, it didn't work. Oh, what really went wrong? Okay, I should say echo asterisk. Yeah, it substitutes it in here. But maybe if you're going to be adding it to files, you might need to simply use shell substitution by using files is equal to dollar of echo asterisk this way. Echo command, it's a shell built in. So you don't need an external command for this. You don't need ls command at all. You can just do it with shell built in, and you get space separated data, which can be very convenient to cut, right? Rather than new line separated data if you are interested. And another benefit you get is it automatically takes care of the full path expansion. Consider this. I want to get the list of all files in /etc with that full path. How do I do that with ls? Can I? Well, if I just say files is equal to /etc/ let's say star.conf, okay? So just say dollar of ls /etc/ star.conf. I will just type dollar files. Yes, it contains all these entities, but the same can be achieved much easily simply by using echo. The result is here. It's all space separated. But some of you might say, no, I don't want it space separated. I want to have it separated by new lines. Well, I think you can use a cd command of the output and convert it to new lines. You can actually do that. But at least you're just using a shell built-in for most of your shell expansion, and this is very convenient. You don't have to use ls command for getting the list of files in a directory. Another common use case for ls related automation is sometimes people want to find out the size of the file, permissions of the file, ownership of the file, or other attributes, right? Permissions, ownership, file size, and all that. So what they do is they'll run ls-l. For example, I could say ls-l hello. There's a program called hello I have in my current directory. So these are the fields that is being printed. Now I can say ls-l hello, and I want to get the size. I could say pipe cut minus field 5 minus delimiter space. I can get this. Or what if I want to get the file name and the size and the file name? So I can say fifth field, 6, 7, 8, 9th field, right? There's a problem. There are multiple spaces here. That's what I said when I said it's not very script friendly. So when I try this out, when I say cut minus field 5, 9, it doesn't work as expected. You see this? Now maybe for this particular output, there are 2 spaces. But so you'll use field 10 here, and you'll try to get with it. It works. But let's try it for not just one file, but all files in the current directory. Then you can see that, wow, totally messed up. Because you know why? Because when you say ls-l, the field formats, you can see there are a lot of spaces in here. There are lesser spaces here. There are more spaces here. So in summary, it gets really clumsy to actually tame ls output the way you want, so you can extract something of your choice. Now, what is the alternative to get the file stat? All of these are called as file stat. When you're looking at the permissions, you're looking at the number of links, or you're looking at ownership, the file size, the file timestamp, and the file name. All of these are part of what you call file statistics or file stat. If you want to get file stat details, don't bother using ls command. Just remember stat command. Stat is available not only on Linux, but almost many of the Unix platforms I've encountered. macOS, FreeBSD, you name it, right? Stat, the command line arguments might vary a bit, but I'm going to show you how it is implemented on Linux, basically, which is part of GNU Core Utils package. So when you use stat, I can say stat hello.txt, or hello, for example, in this case. It gives you complete details. It tells you about the file name, the file size, the blocks. No, this is not really automatable, isn't it? No, you don't have to just type stat. Stat is only useful for human consumption, this one, right? This output. But you can make it script friendly by using this magic switch, minus format. I can stat minus format is equal to, I just want to find out the size of the file. I can use percentages. You just get exactly what you want. You don't have to worry about cutting fields and all that. You don't have to run ls command, pipe cut. Stat will do. You can actually say stat minus format, percentages, and I want to get the file name. You can say %n. The file size, the file name. The beauty is that you can actually say star here, wildcard, all files in the current directory. You get the file size, file name. Or you can try for /etc/star, all files in /etc folder. File size and file names for every single entry in /etc, right? You can see that. So you could actually use stat command. And what are those percentage format specifiers are used here? Percentages and %n. What are the options that are available? There's a huge list of options, and it's quite easy to find out. You can simply say stat -help. The moment you type /stat -help, you get a list of format specifiers which will give you every single entity about file stat. You can get to know the permission bits in octal number, or in a way that's human readable form, or you can actually find out even device information on which device this file exists, file type, ownerships in terms of group and user ownerships, file name as we just saw %n, file size, we saw it right here. So all the details can be extracted, including even the timestamp, in all formats, whether you want it in human readable format or you want to get it in seconds since epoch format. This could be very useful. So you could actually use all these combinations. I can say stat minus format is equal to %, let's say W, and say hello. It gives you the timestamp, the modification timestamp in number of seconds since epoch, that is Jan 1st, 1970. But then if you want to get in human readable format, you could try small w. If you want to get the permission bits, you can actually say %a. This is the octal notation. 775 indicates read, write, execute, read, write, execute, read hyphen execute. 111, 111, 101. That's how you see it, right? So that's what the octal notation is. But you find this a little difficult to understand as a human being. You can actually get it in human readable format by using. You want to find out the file type? No problem. You can, I guess you can just use %F. It says it's a regular file. Maybe, I'm not sure if there's a small f. No, small f will give you the actual file system identity, the number. But yeah, you can look at capital F to get the file type. It says regular file. Let's try some other files. I have different types of files in here. So maybe I have a p.txt. So we just say stat minus format is equal to %capital F and say p.txt, which is a symbolic link. Or I can also find out %capital F. I'll do one thing. I'll say %capital F, tab character, and then I'll just use %n. So I'll say star. So the tab character is not really, it doesn't understand backslash skip sequence like printf function. Sadly, that's a limitation. So yes, you could actually use spaces or you could use other formats here. So yeah, you can see regular files and regular empty file. You can see directory, before file, sockets, or types can be seen here. So if you're interested in the file stat, mostly the file size and all that, you can simply use stat command. One interesting option with stat command I can show you right here is that, let's say I want to find out total size of all the files in the current directory. I have done this in one of my very old videos called as Pragmatic Approach to Shell Scripting. Just look up the video. I will show you how you can connect different commands in a pipeline to get the total size of all the files in a directory. Very messy, very clumsy, right? It's just show off to tell you that you can run so many commands and connect them in a pipeline. But if you know one command called stat, it's straightforward and easy. You can actually say stat minus format is equal to, I'm just going to say %s plus, right? And put a space here and say star. It's all new line separated. You know what I do is I put pipe xargs. It'll basically convert new line separated data, space separated data. And then I can actually fit it to expr. Because the expr output of this command with 0. And yes, this will be many magnitudes faster than the earlier example that was shown in the older video, which actually is titled as Pragmatic Approach to Shell Scripting. Do have a look at that video, compare with this. So knowing more commands on Linux will make you more productive. So I told you another use case where you don't have to use ls command for automation, file stat details. Another common use case is I've seen far too many people using ls commands output to find out the pointer of a symlink. For example, I say ls-lp.txt. This is a symbolic link that actually points to /etc/password. A lot of times I've seen people doing this. To find out what a symlink points to, they would say ls-l p.txt, whatever the file name is, pipe, either use cut or awk, whatever tools of choice. In this case, I'm going to use cut minus field 10 minus delimiter space. And this won't work because of the way the spaces work based on the file name and file timestamp and all that. So how do you get the file that the symlink points to? Just remember to use readlink p.txt. These are 3 alternative ways to avoid using ls command within a shell script. So whenever you think you need to run ls command and capture the output of ls command to do something, look at 3 options. Shell wildcard expansion, 2, look for stat command, and 3, look for readlink, right? So this is what you should know about. Alright, this was a short video, so I just told you some interesting use cases in shell scripting. So if you find this video useful, you know the deal. Just send me in comments whether you found this video useful. If you would like to know more, if you'd like to listen to more videos like these, watch more videos like these, please do comment. So I will post more videos in the same lines. Thank you very much. Goodbye.